Panpsychism offers a bold answer to the enduring mystery of consciousness. It proposes that consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe. Everything is conscious to some degree. This includes not just humans and animals, but also plants, inanimate objects, and even fundamental particles. Panpsychism views consciousness as an intrinsic property of reality. It is not something that emerges from non-conscious matter. The idea that the universe is alive with consciousness has deep historical roots. Ancient philosophies in Greece, India, and China explored panpsychist concepts. Thinkers like Plato and Thales saw consciousness as woven into the fabric of existence. In the 17th century, philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz proposed that the universe is composed of fundamental units called monads, each possessing a form of consciousness. However, panpsychism lost favor in the 20th century with the rise of materialism. This view prioritized the physical world and struggled to explain consciousness. Recently, panpsychism has experienced a resurgence. This is partly due to the persistent hard problem of consciousness. Philosopher David Chalmers coined this term to highlight the difficulty of explaining how subjective experience arises from physical processes. Panpsychism offers a compelling alternative. It suggests that consciousness is not a problem to be solved, but a fundamental aspect of reality. This view implies a deep interconnectedness between ourselves and the universe. It challenges us to reconsider our place within a potentially conscious cosmos. The hard problem of consciousness arises from the limitations of traditional scientific approaches. Science excels at explaining objective phenomena, like the brain's structure and function. However, it struggles to account for the subjective, qualitative nature of experience. How do physical processes in the brain give rise to the feeling of joy, the taste of chocolate, or the redness of a sunset? Materialist views, dominant in the 20th century, struggle to bridge this explanatory gap. They often resort to reducing consciousness to brain activity. However, this fails to capture the essence of subjective experience. Panpsychism offers a different perspective. By positing consciousness as fundamental, it avoids the need to explain how it emerges from non-conscious matter. Contemporary proponents of panpsychism, like myself, offer various interpretations. My view, teleological cosmopsychism, proposes that the universe is not only conscious, but also has a goal-directed nature, aiming to produce complex, self-aware beings like ourselves. Physicist Dr. Brian Josephson suggests that quantum mechanics, with its inherent uncertainty and observer-dependent effects, might be more compatible with panpsychism than classical physics. Philosopher Galen Strawson argues that materialism, if taken to its logical conclusion, inevitably leads to panpsychism. These diverse perspectives highlight the evolving nature of panpsychism. It is not a single, monolithic theory, but a family of views united by the core idea that consciousness is fundamental. This fundamental nature of consciousness offers a potential solution to the hard problem. It reframes the question from how does consciousness arise to how does fundamental consciousness manifest in different ways. While panpsychism offers an elegant solution to the hard problem, it is not without its critics and challenges. One of the most common objections is the lack of direct empirical evidence. Critics argue that we cannot directly observe or measure consciousness in, say, rocks or electrons. However, proponents counter that our inability to currently detect consciousness in such entities does not preclude its existence. New scientific tools and frameworks might be needed to explore this uncharted territory. Some evidence, though indirect, hints at the plausibility of panpsychism. The field of plant neurobiology has revealed surprising complexity in how plants sense and respond to their environment. While they lack a brain, plants exhibit behaviors that resemble learning and memory. Similarly, studies on slime mold, single-celled organisms without a nervous system, demonstrate remarkable problem-solving abilities. These findings challenge our traditional understanding of cognition and suggest that consciousness might manifest in ways we are only beginning to understand. Another objection to panpsychism is the combination problem. If individual particles possess consciousness, how do these countless conscious entities combine to form the unified experience we have? Panpsychists argue that the combination problem, while complex, is not insurmountable. They propose that consciousness might operate at different levels of organization, with more complex entities exhibiting higher levels of integration and unity. Despite these challenges, the resurgence of panpsychism signifies a shift in how we approach the mystery of consciousness. It encourages us to question our assumptions about the nature of reality and to explore unconventional avenues of inquiry. Beyond its metaphysical implications, panpsychism raises profound ethical questions. If consciousness is indeed a fundamental property of the universe, our ethical circle expands dramatically. We are no longer the sole bearers of moral worth. Every entity, from animals and plants to the very air we breathe, potentially possesses some degree of consciousness and deserves our ethical consideration. This expanded view challenges our anthropocentric biases. It calls for a re-evaluation of our relationship with the natural world and the technologies we create. If we accept the possibility of a conscious universe, our actions take on a new significance. We become responsible not just for our fellow humans, but for the well-being of a potentially vast and interconnected web of consciousness. The ethical implications of panpsychism are far-reaching and complex. They invite us to consider the consequences of our actions, not just in terms of their impact on human society, but on the broader canvas of a conscious cosmos. This expanded ethical perspective has the potential to reshape our values, our relationship with the environment, and our very understanding of what it means to be human in a universe teeming with possibilities.